Hello everyone, welcome to the vlog. This week on YouTube I've decided to do more of a vlog style video, so I'm going to take you through my day. Today is Friday and it's a bit of a reset day for me because I've had a really busy week getting a new course out. It went live on Wednesday and now I just want to have a pretty relaxed and easygoing day. I want to spend some time in my sketchbooks and also just do a few bits and bobs, a bit of planning as well because it's the beginning of the month and I like to get a bit of a feeling of what lies ahead. So anyway, the first thing that I want to do is make some coffee, sit down with my journal and get some thoughts out. So before I get started on some painting, I just wanted to spend a little bit more time this morning with my planners. I like to do this at the beginning of the month. I don't always get the opportunity, but I feel like my month flows a lot better when I spend some time plotting things out. I also have my notes to mindfulness journal. I mentioned this in the studio vlog, and today feels like a good day to do that. So I'm just going to relax for probably half an hour or so with my coffee, do my journal, fill out a few more things on my February planner, write down some notes, and basically just get everything that's in my head out so that I feel more relaxed during this month. There's one other thing that I wanted to show you actually. I have another sheet. So a couple of years ago I was using now I've forgotten what it's called. It says here makersbusinesstoolkit.com. I'll have to have a look it up, but it's a planner for artists. I'll link it in the description. Anyway, I printed out just a couple of worksheets from that, which is a February action plan. So I'm going to do some combination of all of these things over the next half an hour before I head up to my studio, which is upstairs. So I've just filled out this action plan for February, and the main goal for this month for me is filming the final module of my 12-month e-course. So most of the tasks relate to that, and I find it helpful to just think through what I need to do, from developing the concept to filming the videos, editing, creating the sales page, and then just roughly get some days in, and particularly days that I can do things with Richie, I like to put into my calendar because he is out and about and doing various things. So I have already sort of had a chat to him, and I'm going to put in some filming days for the supporting videos, which are things like Q&As, art supply demonstrations, and also the main project. I'm not sure about the other parts. That's a bit more flexible, so I'm not going to write them into the plan, but they will fall into place as they always do. So I'll probably come back to this and fill it out a bit more as other things become obvious to me as to what I need to get done this month. But I'm happy that I've got a rough plan for filming my class. And now I want to put that aside and just head up to the studio and do some painting. This will be just working in my sketchbook, personal painting. I feel like I need to have a bit of a break. I've only just finished filming a class, so I like to have at least a couple of days before I start the concepts for the next class. So I'm going to head up to my studio now, do all the things that I like to do, put music on, probably put a candle on or maybe some essential oils, make a cup of tea, flick through a few things, and then just get started. Oh, and music. Did I say music? I think I did say music, but always music. So I've come up to my studio. Some of you will have seen in my recent studio tour that I have a home studio and it's in a loft area upstairs. So downstairs I was doing my planning and journaling, and now I'm up here and I want to do some painting. So I have this sketchbook in front of me. I started this sketchbook just after I filmed my last class. So my last class is called Simplicity in Nature, and it's focused on landscapes, semi-abstract landscapes, mostly painted with watercolor and ink. But when I finished that class, I really felt like I still had heaps of ideas and things that I wanted to explore. It's only a mini class, so I decided to keep on going with some of the ideas in a sketchbook. So I have been working in this. This is from the brand Sea White of Brighton, and it's a watercolor sketchbook. It's got a fairly heavy weight, 350 GSM watercolor paper in it. So I am finding that it works really well with mixed media, and I'm liking this sort of big landscape format. So I haven't actually been using it out in nature. I've only been using it at my desk, but I do think it's a nice sturdy sketchbook that would work if you are out in the elements. So today I just want to keep on trying out some different ideas in this sketchbook. I have a bunch of reference photographs here. Some of them are from the course. I printed them off in the course. So I will keep using those as inspiration. And I'm going to work with watercolor, ink, and then probably some paint pens, pastels, things like that that I can add mark making to. And this is one of my favorite ways to create. So to start with very loose washy layers and then come back over the top with more meditative, repetitive details. So with that said, I think I'll continue with the blue theme, and I'm just going to use this photograph up here as a bit of inspiration. So you've got cropped in beautiful branches, but we'll see. Quite often when I have an inspiration in front of me, my mind will start with that, but then move on to other things. So there's always a little bit of intuition that comes into play with this type of painting. So I'm going to start with getting some blues down, a nice loose washy layer. I actually have this really beautiful mug, which is in blues and has gorgeous textures in it. So that's another thing that I might use to inspire me. So the spray bottle on this is not working anymore. This is Lindy's Stamp Gang Moonshadow Mist. This is a dye-based ink. So it probably wouldn't be great for work that you want to sell, but in a sketchbook it's fine because the colours might fade a little bit over time. I've really been liking this blue. This is the Cerulean Blue Chromium. It's really nice and vibrant sea blue. This is Daniel Smith. I'll pop a bit of that into the background. This is another very vibrant blue, can't even say it, Indian Throne Blue. Let's try that one. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry and then I'll decide what to bring over the top of it. So I really like how this little drip kind of pulled out into a line. I think I'm going to do a bit more of that through this. Use my hairdryer as a tool to get some interesting lines. So I'm using this idea of branches just to inform some of the lines that are coming through the painting now. And now I'm going to give it another try with the hairdryer. So after a lot of fiddling with stencils, I have got some shapes that I like that resemble branches. So I'm going to use, I've got a little bit of mixed up peachy acrylic paint. So I'm going to use that with a sponge and apply the stencil. Brilliant. So I've got a little bit of contrast there. I'm just going to put something on there to weigh the stencil down. So I think just for a little bit more contrast, I'm going to use a paint pen and go over one of the lines that's come through from the first layer. Okay, so that's where I'm going to leave this sketchbook page. I'm going to head downstairs now and have some lunch. I really enjoyed it. I had a bit of a struggle with the paint pen in a few spots. Didn't seem to like working on top of the watercolour and the ink that I'd put down. Sometimes paint pens work really well, sometimes they don't. It's a bit of a mystery to me, but anyway, it seemed to be reactivating the paint underneath a little bit. So I'm not sure if I really like that section, but I do love these shapes and the overall feel of all the branches overlapping each other. So that's usually all I'm looking for with a sketchbook page, is just to find something that I like that I can then, reflect back on later or maybe use in some other paintings. So I've just finished this sketchbook spread and I'm going to head downstairs and have some lunch, and then after lunch I'll probably will hop on my computer for a bit just to check some messages. I usually do that first thing in the morning, but I didn't do it this morning, so I just like to keep up to date on that kind of stuff because it builds up really quickly. So I'll do a little bit of that, and then it's school pickup time, so I'm going to wind down pretty early today. It's Friday and I'm just going to relax, spend time with the kids. My daughter's having a big sleepover tonight, which I haven't told Richie about yet, but anyway, and I just want to make sure we have some stuff for that, so it'll be all home stuff from here on. So I'm just about to have my lunch. That's a pretty typical lunch for me, toasty or something like that with some fruit and something yummy. And I've got these pea crisps that I'm really loving at the moment. It is such a brutal day outside. You wouldn't believe that it is summer here. Next week it will probably be something like 40 degrees Celsius, but today it must be like 16, maybe 18 degrees, which is pretty cold for us. I've got cardies on, jumpers on, and it is blowing a gale, pouring with rain. It feels like the middle of winter. So I just realised that it would be a really good opportunity to put this big fiddle leaf fig out in the rain, because I quite often do that when it's raining with this big plant and some of my other bigger plants. I just wanted to get this one as well. Just pop them both out. Okay, so I've popped them both out. They're both overdue for some water. So hopefully they'll like that, and I have to remember to bring them inside tonight so they don't get too cold. Anyway, that's good. I'm going to have my lunch.